Oh, Ohio gozaimasu. I'm sorry. I pushed the button. Hold on. Okay. uh, I pushed the button and I'm walking and I saw some roses that I've not sniffed before. So then we did that and I guess I had pushed the button and like forgot that we did that. Good morning. And then when I said hold on, there was another bush of roses that we've sniffed before, but we sniffed them again. Hold on, let me make sure the mic is even up for me to be telling you what's happening. Okay, yeah. My headphones have been acting up, like somehow turning up and down my volume on my actual phone when they don't have that function. They have their own volume. They do their own volume. They do their own thing. Now I'm checking myself in the mirror. This is a necessity. Because this morning, not even because this morning, it's a necessity. But like this morning was kind of hectic. Like the time, from the time I wake up, probably even from the moments before I wake up, my day is just, I'm active. I'm active in my day. Like every little thing is something. And, you know, that's great most of the time. But sometimes it's like, why is this happening right now? But it wasn't bad because it was a lesson that normally we would, let's say we pass it, right? Every time we pass it, because there's always, to me, passing a lesson is making it happen, like getting through it without being embarrassed because you didn't, if that makes sense. So basically, in my opinion, if you do not pass your lessons and God decides to put them out in public for you because you didn't pass them, and that is debatable on like what degree of a lesson it is. Like it really could be anything. But this one is like bathroom things. I've said before that there's a lot of bathroom stories that I have to tell. But like the best part about it is like all of those things happened and nobody knew. So when I talk about how important it is for, like I know how important it is for people to be able to go to the bathroom when they need to go to the bathroom, people don't truly understand the weight of the words that I'm saying. Although I think they understand by the tone and the energy of it that I'm just like, no, I'm serious. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, this time, I wouldn't say it went without a hitch. It was more of like it was more like it happened and it didn't happen like it would normally happen, and we were able to come out of it unscathed. And that's a blessing. So lesson passed, really, because it never happens like that, and it's happened multiple times, and it happens whenever it chooses to be a cycle of it happening. I've had to pee a lot lately, and like I said, I've been eating a lot of regular food now, and so yeah. All right, let's get back to this. If you guys, okay, first off, you don't actually have a choice in the matter, so I'm not gonna ask if you guys want to hear more about it. It'll come up at some point because I feel like it's very important, because people really do like to act like just because you don't do a certain thing that everybody else does, like get a job that you don't like and, you know, work it and, you know, slave your life away, instead of, you know, putting love and light into your world and doing things the way that you should do them. People like to believe that it's okay for certain people to not have certain things. And the bathroom is one of them. Hello, stop the bus. She was about to drive by. She was about to like leave. She said, no. Praise the Lord. I popped up. Thank you. It's a good thing I was looking up and not reading, because then I wouldn't have noticed. But yeah, people like to hold these things away from people that need them. And everybody needs them. We're all human. It all happens. But at the same time, people take advantage of the fact that, So I understand both sides, but at the same time, I'm like, what that got to do with me? And at the same time, I'm just like, if it was easier for certain things to happen, it wouldn't be like it is. And that's something that, again, I want to talk about at some point, but not right now. But moving on. And when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royale. That is not, I think it's just seed royal. But Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons, which were slain, and they hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bedchamber from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. And he was with her, hid in the house of the Lord 6 years. And Athaliah did reign over the land. In the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds, with the captains and the guard, and brought them to him into the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with him, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord, and shewed them the king's son. And he commanded them, saying, This is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house. And a third part shall be at the gate of Sur, and a third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep the watch of the house, that it be not broken down. And 2 parts of all you that go forth on the Sabbath, even they shall keep the watch of the house of the Lord about the king. And ye shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hand. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain. And be ye with the king as he goeth out, and as he cometh in. And the captains over the hundreds did according to all things that Jehoiada the priest commanded, and they took every man his men that were come to praise the Lord. Hold on. And they took every man his men that were to come in on the Sabbath, with them that should go out on the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And to the captains over hundreds did the priests give King David spears and shields that were in the temple of the Lord. And the guard stood, every man with his weapons in his hand, round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar and the temple. And he brought forth the king's son, and put the crown upon him, and gave him the testimony. And they made him king, and anointed him, and they clapped their hands, and said, God save the king. And when Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she came to the people into the temple of the Lord. And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as the manner was, and the princes and the trumpeters by the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced and blew with trumpets. And Athaliah rent her clothes, and cried, Treason, treason. But Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains of the hundreds, the officers of the host, and said unto them, Have her forth without the ranges, and him that followeth her kill with the sword. For the priest had said, Let her not be slain in the house of the Lord. And they laid hands on her, and went, and this whole sentence, I was thinking about something that I'm definitely going to tell you guys about when I'm done. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by the which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people. between the king also and the people. And all the people of the land went into the house of Baal and brake it down, his altars and his images brake they in pieces thoroughly, and slew Mattan the priest of Baal before the altars. And the priest appointed officers over the house of the Lord. And he took the rulers over hundreds, and the captains and the guard, and all the people of the land. And they brought down the king from the house of the Lord, and came by the way of the gate of the guard to the king's house. And he sat on the throne of the kings. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet, and they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Jehoash when he began to reign. Jehoash. Prayer is the greater work. That's funny. Interesting, because we were just talking about that. In the 7th year of Jehoash began to reign. And 40 years reigned he in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Zibiah of Beersheba. And Joash did that which was right in the sight of the Lord all his days, wherein Jehoiada the priest instructed him. But the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places. And Jehoash said to the priests, all the money of the dedicated things that is brought into the house of the Lord, even the money of every one that passeth the account, the money that every man is set at, and all the money that cometh into any man's heart to bring into the house of the Lord. Let the priests take it to them, every man of his acquaintance, and let them repair the breaches of the house wheresoever any breach shall be found. But it was so that in the 23rd year of King Jehoash, the priests had not repaired the breaches of the house. Then King Jehoash called for Jehoiada the priest, and the other priests, and said unto them, why repair ye not the breaches of the house? Now therefore receive no more money of your acquaintance, but deliver it for the breaches of the house. And the priest consented to receive no more money of the people, neither to repair the breaches of the house. But Jehoiada the priest took a chest and bored a hole in the lid of it, and set it beside the altar on the right side as one cometh into the house of the Lord. And the priests that kept the door put therein all the money that was brought into the house of the Lord. I think it's interesting still that churches have less money than everything else. Bless. And it was so, when they saw that there was much money in the chest, that the king's scribe and the high priest came up, and they put up in bags and told the money that was found in the house of the Lord. And they gave the money, being told, into the hands of them that did the work, that had the oversight of the house of the Lord, and they laid it out to the carpenters and builders that wrought upon the house of the Lord, and to masons and hewers of stone, and to buy timber and hew stone to repair the breaches of the house of the Lord, for all that was laid out for the house to repair it. Howbeit there were not made for the house of the Lord bowls of silver, snuffers, basins, trumpets, and any vessels of gold or vessels of silver of the money that was brought into the house of the Lord. But they gave that to the workmen, and repaired therewith the house of the Lord. Moreover, they reckoned not with the men into whose hand they delivered the money to be bestowed on workmen, for they dealt faithfully. The trespass money and sin money was not brought into the house of the Lord. Moreover, they reckoned not with the men into whose hand they delivered the money to be bestowed on workmen, for they dealt faithfully. The trespass money and sin money was not brought into the house of the Lord. Oh Lord, how do we fix this? Yeah. The trespass money and sin money was not brought into the house of the Lord. It was the priests. Then Hazael king of Syria, went up and fought against Gath and took it, and Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem. And Jehoash, king of Judah, took all the hallowed things, or hallowed. I never actually know how to say that. I think I just say whatever it is saying, but like I think this is the first time I've actually thinking about it. Took all the hallowed things that Jehoshaphat and Jehu and Ahaziah, his father's kings of Judah, had dedicated, and his own hallowed things, and all the gold that was found in the treasures of the house of the Lord, and in the king's house, and sent it to Hazael, king of Syria, and he went away from Jerusalem. I thought they were going to be able to, like, I'm gonna assume, like, I knew what it meant, but that's why I said hollowed, holy. I don't know. It's not the same thing, because hollowed is not the same thing either. I think it's also spelled differently at some point in the Bible as well. And it's the same thing. I don't know. I don't remember. Hold on. Oh, we finished this. And the rest of the acts of Joash and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? And his servants arose and made a conspiracy and slew Joash in the house of Millo, which goeth down to Selah. Where would that be? I also don't know, like, when because everything is supposed to be in a different language in the Bible to begin with, which is funny to me that English is the main language. For Josachar, the son of Shemath, and Jehozabad, the son of Shomar, his servants, smote him, and he died. And they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Amaziah, his son, reigned in his stead. Let's go down here. Actually, where did they get all those broken pieces of glass to put back in there with the tape? I'm so happy for you. It's the first, I was about to say this is the first time it's worked out for these people. Man, that's annoying because I feel like we're gonna install this game. See how it goes. It never is like it says it's going to be. Yeah, let's see what the pictures say. Quest and challenge. Sorry, I gotta move this around. Renovate. Something. Feed the animal. Unlock new areas, earn rewards, whatever. I don't really want to go through the whole thing. This is going to be a journey. The primary design intent of this game is frustration. Obtaining energy is severely too slow, and the ways you get it are ridiculously too limited. Thanks for the feedback. It is a good idea to refill energy yourself instead of waiting. That means they want you to pay money. I really enjoyed the premise of the Civ type games and love playing them, but the build times for most items are about twice as long as they should be. Thank you. I've been playing for about a year. I played leisurely due to having a job. It's like I got a job. It is an enjoyable game and mini games are fun too. The only dislike I really have about it at an energy maximum is only 60. I think it should increase by at least 10 or 20 for every level completed, or decrease energy needed to cut down and break boulders. Honestly, I think this is the same type of game as like the farmer. There's like something farm or something. And that's the whole reason I stopped playing the game. But this one has ramen in it, so y'all will know if this is fun if I start making a video on it. I'm gonna wait for it to start like doing something. Okay, that's all fun. Alright, that's perfectly fine. Got it. Praise the Lord. Going back to what we're doing. All I need is you, Lord. Praise the Lord. Alright. In the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, king of Judah, Jehoahaz. I don't know why we had to. This is really tying into what I said I had to say since the beginning. In the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, king of Judah, Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, began to reign over Israel and Samaria, and reigned 17 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Benhadad, the son of Hazael, all their days. And Jehoahaz, now I don't even know how to say it correctly anymore. Jehoahaz, I think I might be what it was. And Jehoahaz besought the Lord, and the Lord hearkened unto him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Syria oppressed them. And the Lord gave Israel a savior, so that they went out from under the hand of the Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before time. Nevertheless, they departed not from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who made Israel sin, but walked therein, and there remained the grove also in Samaria. Neither did he leave of the people to Jehoahaz, but 50 horsemen and 10 chariots and 10,000 footmen, for the king of Syria had destroyed them, and had made them like the dust by threshing. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz, and all that he did, and his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehoahaz slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria, and Joash his son reigned in his stead. In the 37th year of Joash king of Judah began Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 16 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, but he walked therein. And the rest of the acts of Joash, and all that he did, and his might wherewith he fought against Amaziah, king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Joash slept with his fathers, and Jeroboam sat upon his throne. And Joash was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died. And Joash the king of Israel came down unto him, and wept over his face, and said, O my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And Elisha said unto him, Take bow and arrows. And he took unto him bow and arrows. And he said to the king of Israel, Put thine hand upon the bow. And he put his hand upon it. And Elisha put his hands upon the king's hands. And he said, Open the window eastward. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, Shoot. And he shot. And he said, The arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and the arrow of deliverance from Syria, for thou shalt smite the Syrians in Aphek till thou hast consumed them. And he said, Take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, Smite upon the ground. And he smote thrice, and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him, and said, Thou shouldest have smitten 5 or 6 times. Then hast thou smitten Syria till thou hast consumed it, whereas now thou shalt smite Syria but thrice. Alright, hold on, I'm gonna have to get it. Thank you. It smells like it's gonna rain today. I don't mind rain during the day in general. Well, you know what? I have white shoes now, so that's truly is a lie. But like, not at night. Praise the Lord, not at for obvious reasons. Where are we at? And Elisha died, and they. Oh, I got the light too. Thank you, Lord. Did it, did it, did it, did it. I was gonna say by myself, but I don't agree with that statement because it's not really true. But it is at the same time, and you will hear me say it. But like, for this actual moment right here, we were very much thinking about the Lord. But it's true. We're not gonna get into that though, at all. Not right now. Maybe it just smells like that because they cleaned the sidewalk. But like the sky itself actually looks pretty lit. You know what? Oh, did I do that? I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. Hold on. There was somebody over there with energy that I didn't want to be around, so we're gonna stand. I don't know where we are. This is the beginning. Wait a minute. I think I didn't even know he was doing all that, but I'm glad that I'm over here for him. That's how important reading people's energy is. That's so interesting. Yeah, there we go. I figured it out. Praise the Lord, we figured it out. Because I'm like, this looks like 12, and it was 12. And then I'm like, wait a minute, didn't we start on 11? All right, let's finish this up. And Elisha died, and they buried him. And the bands of the Moabites invaded the land at the coming of the year. And it came to pass, as they were burying a man, that behold, they spied a band of men, and they cast the man into the sepulchre of Elisha. And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elisha, he revived and stood up on his feet. But Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. And the Lord was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and had respect unto them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet. So Azahel, see, I don't understand. So Azahel, Hazael, that's what happened. So Hazael, king of Syria, died, and Ben-Hadad, his son, reigned in his stead, and Jehoash, and then Jehoaz. Sometimes it's worse than other days. I get embarrassed of myself. Like, I don't care how you guys are doing it. It's just like, it's for me. Because when I'm by myself, this is how it happens too. It's kind of just, it's not even frustrating. Like, just legit is like, why? Why is this happening right now? And I'll, again, speak about it in a second. And Jehoash, the son of Jehoaz, took again out of the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, the cities, which he had taken out of the hand of Jehoaz, his father, by war. 3 times did Joash beat him, and recovered the cities of Israel. Praise the Lord, we did it. Let's see what's up. Oh, we are not watching this again. Praise the Lord. Nope. Okay. My main thing about, okay, so I don't really know you know what, let's go to Google, since we have time to do this. And this is this. I don't know how to do this. Hold on. Oh. Hey Google.
Follow the notification in your phone to turn on.
What? Oh, that's it? I don't think you could hear that, but I'll just say learning characterized, like a learning disability characterized by difficulty reading. And okay, I didn't want to say it was something that I didn't have, especially because I didn't want to manifest something that I didn't have, especially because like it's something that I've definitely had all my life. Like I'll notice it, but it's not really gotten okay. Sometimes it doesn't get in the way of things. I don't understand things the way that other people do, and now that I know who I am, it makes a lot of sense as to why specifically that's true. Like people will be like blah 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 this and then break, and like everybody's like got it, and then like they go and do it, and I'm like, does anybody know what that was? But yet I can follow everything else. It's so interesting. I can follow things, and like a lot of things that come out of my mouth, people are like, blows their mind. But to me, it's just one word that I said, and I didn't know that it was that deep. But then I think about it, and I'm like, is it really? I was like, I guess normal people wouldn't say something like that, I suppose. But anything that like really is too masculine based, and I do mean masculine based, like logic, like way too logic. That's when like it has to be tied in with everything. It can't just be like numbers. Hold on, I don't know. What number is it? Oh, 51. Cool, cool. I love this bus. I'm gonna switch this around real quick. I'm pretty sure everybody in LA knows everything about everything. But like to me, this is such an adventure. I love riding this bus. I don't get to ride it very often, which makes it a lot more fun. The only things that I don't like about it, which is the reasons why I don't normally take this bus, first off, you can't really see out the window too well because it has like the decals on the outside. But like I love this thing. Like the ground, this circle, it moves. And I like these seats right here. I like that they have seats up in the corner right there. Like look at this. The whole bus is moving. It's like a train. I love it. I love it so much. It's so much fun. Anyway, going back to what I was saying. I really do feel like I see, like I said, I'm not trying to identify with something that I'm really not trying to. But yes, dyslexia, like it's always something that like I'll see a lot. That's why when I say it, I'm like I'm reading this, I understand it, but what's coming out of my mouth is different. And then at the same time, that doesn't always happen like that either. It'll be like I'll look at the word and I'll say it, but like no matter how many times that my brain knows exactly how to pronounce something, my spirit is like, it's like that's not how you say it because it's not coming out of my mouth like that. And so like it's like my mouth can't pronounce what it is that my soul is saying is correct. Or sometimes like I'll understand why something should be like something, and I'll say it, but it doesn't make any sense to me, so I'll do it again because it just doesn't make any sense. And then there's a couple of things because they don't really affect how I read or anything because I'm a fast reader and I'm a really good reader. But it is because we love to read, and I feel like if we didn't, it might be a lot different. Like when something's boring, I can't focus on it at all. And that's like I said, like when things get to masculine energy, and I'm really primarily masculine energy, even if I am the divine feminine. It's complicated, but not really. It's complicated, but simple. Anyway. But like I just can't understand certain math problems and stuff like that. But I love math. I really like math. I like math. I like science. I love logic. Like I love all this stuff. I just don't always know how to understand it. Like I would just feel like this is not working out for me. But put it in an anime and I'll understand it, like straight up. But at the same time, it depends on how they put it in anime. Because sometimes animes are a little too much detail based and not like not in the way that I like, because for me detail based is like details, like all the ins and outs, all the subliminals and whatnot. But like we'll use Eureka. If anybody's seen that anime, we'll use that as an explanation. Like the more robots there are where there's not a lot of humor, there's not a lot of feminine energy, lack of feminine energy. The Attack on Titans, I hate that show. I think it's absolutely stupid. I was going to say something else, but I'm really not trying to make nobody feel some type of way. Because I do use words that people don't like to hear anymore. And I did, in my mind, I said it's retarded. It's really dumb. But like, I try not to say these things when I'm like on, like, I don't know. I just feel like some words, I just don't look at it that way, but then the whole world looked at it that way, and I'm like, dang, y'all taking everything from me that I do say that is like everybody else, but like I don't say it for the same reasons, I don't use them in the wrong way, but daggone it, now I can't say certain things, and that just irritates me, because I'm pretty sure at some point I'm not going to want to change that, but specifically in this moment I'm not going to say that, especially since I'm talking about dyslexia, because special kids are not really special to me. They're just people. They're just people. They've always been just people. Some of them are a lot more extra than they need to be, though, and specifically towards you. I will definitely say that those are stories for a different time, though. And they're not bad things. It's just like, how did I become the object of anybody's affection right now? And that's how it really felt. It was always something. I am an empath, so I attract different types of people. And I did not know that when I was a kid. But I did know that we attracted different types of people. So that's something. But I am that kid that's always nice to people, especially when people are being mean to them for no daggone reason. It's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. Like I said, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Actually, it kind of does. Like, I don't look down on people for certain things. So when I say certain words, I'm like, I hope ain't nobody gonna come back and get crazy with that one. Because that ain't, that's not what we meant. But yeah, oh yeah, so I'll look at the word. Oh yeah, no. So numerology. Numerology is, for those that don't know, it's like there are different numbers made up in your birth chart, where you live, your address, your phone number, like all these types of things. And they are very accurate, especially the closer you get to your light, they're very accurate. And so, since my birthday is on December 3rd, I looked up it kind of popped up on my feed, because this is what we're into. We're into spirituality and astrology and stuff like that. And so we were looking at this, and she was talking, I forgot who it was by, but I don't forget, I think, no, because I think I'm going to name somebody else. But she was talking about like each number each day of the month that you were born on, like what type of person you are. And it was pretty daggone spot on. Like, and I do mean pretty daggone spot on. And she was saying, one of the things that she mentioned was that we sometimes mess up on words because our brain reads the words so fast and has all the letters in the words already, and we mix it up. And so we have to take our time when we're reading to make sure that we say the correct word, because we're so intelligent that our word, like, we've already read it, and we kind of just skip over the situation. And I'm like, that makes sense, because that's exactly what happens. That's why I'm so good at skimming. But I'm actually really good at skimming. Like, I can get my information if I need to and whatnot. But I like to read it as well. But, like, sometimes that really throws me, like, when it's something that I'm not trying to do. And I was like, dang, she hit that right on the head. And I was like, I really thought that I was, like, going through something. But, like, no. It's because I'm really smart. I'm really intelligent. Anyway, we're going to end with a prayer. I'm not really sure what the prayer is going to be about. It's kind of just a judgment feeling for the day. Thank you very much for being here today. I don't even know if you can hear me, but I hope so, because it is very clear to me that I'm not a very loud person, and even less so when I have my mouth shut. And I'm trying not to be the loudest person in the world when I'm speaking, but the Bible does take precedence over everything, and it truly does. Which is interesting. Again, these things are all things that need to be talked about at some point. But I think it's funny because they're interesting. Anyway, I gotta go. We'll talk about these things the more that we go through our journey together, and then they'll come up. A lot of things will come up. And yes, if you do ask about things, then I'll be answer it right away, but it still might not be the full story because there's just so much that ties into everything. So, oh, that was a peace sign. It didn't work out though.